something different in this video, and that's that my nails are super short. They have been long since I started this channel, but I got really sick of it, so I'm regrowing them, hopefully healthier. Although I didn't paint them very well. That's kind of nasty, but yeah. My nails are short, so you're gonna hear a lot of finger pad tapping rather than fingernail tapping, although I can still kind of tap with my fingernails. But yeah, and a lot of gripping too. I'll get into the gripping later though. So in this video, I have a bunch of Japanese language books that I want to show you, and I'll be talking a little bit about the Japanese language, my experience with the Japanese language, etc. But I have been learning Japanese for 6 years, I want to say, but not consecutively. During the school year, I kind of stopped learning Japanese because I'm really busy with other things, but it is the summer and I will be majoring in Japanese in college along with a different major. So I kind of just have to dive headfirst into this language now again. But these are mostly workbooks, and some are just like Japanese culture books or books that you don't really work on. You just kind of like read. But anyway, I'll get started. So I really love the Japanese language, and I love languages in general because when I'm in school, I find that I'm a very, very slow learner. I don't pick up things, especially like math or sciences, very quickly. But if it has anything to do with languages, I am really, really good. I got almost a perfect score on the SAT reading portion. And I'm quite proud of that. I'm fluent in Spanish as well as English, and Japanese will be my third language. So this is the first one. These two books are the exact same. They are writing Japanese kana. And I would say that these two books are mandatory if you're going to be learning the Japanese language and you're like beginner, because it essentially teaches you how to accurately write every single character in the Japanese language, except like kanji, obviously, because there's a lot of kanji. So just gonna dive into that. But it takes you through hiragana and katakana, which are the two Japanese like writing systems, and it like makes you really memorize all of the characters so that you don't have to worry about that later. And that's why I think that it's a perfect beginner book. And then it teaches you like very, very basic Japanese grammar, so combination characters and something that I don't know how to pronounce, voiced and voiceless bilabials. I think I said that right. I don't know. And then after each section, after the hiragana section, it goes through some tests that you can do. And the tests are in all different varieties. Like all different types of things. Like that. It does the same for katakana, and then at the very end it tests you in both, like a mix of both. But if you don't know, hiragana is used for like Japanese words, and katakana is used for words in the Japanese language that come from a foreign origin. So for example, in Spanish, the word for bread is bun, and in Japanese, the word for bread is also bun. So that is written in katakana. There's a lot of things here, a lot of words apparently that are said like in that Japanese katakana way, but that are really just English words, and spoken like with a different form, I guess. But yeah, first book that I did so much that I went and bought it again. And I don't regret it at all. It's a very good purchase. And it's also very fun to do once you get into the hang of things. And I really liked that brand of book and their teaching strategies. And so I went and bought a different Japanese book that they had made. And this is the complete Japanese grammar. Okay, so this one is the one that I'm currently working on. This is very good because it touches on each grammatical thing very quickly, but every single thing that they teach you is reinforced with its own exercise. So for example, right here, this is dropping pronouns. And at the top of the page here, right here, there's the exercise for it. And as you can see, I'm a big annotator. I annotate everything, and I also write these little sticky notes that just quickly touch on the basic things on each page, especially if I didn't know it before. And it's really good because it builds as you progress along the book. So it'll talk about one thing, and then you'll have to apply it again in the next exercise along with a different concept. So once you get to like the end of the chapter, you're basically a pro on certain things. And it just keeps going like that. I haven't gotten very far in this book. I believe I've gotten to page 13. Oh no, wait. Oh, wait. I'm a lot farther than I thought I was. Page 21. I stopped on page 21. And so far, I really, really like it. It does get harder, though. It's significantly harder than those other books. But, you know, it's a completely different language than English and Spanish. Like, of course, it's going to be hard. So, that is the complete Japanese grammar. I suggest that you buy. So first, you're going to get the writing Japanese kana books, and then the complete Japanese grammar books, because the complete Japanese grammar book is not focused on teaching you about the Japanese characters. It's just grammar, so it touches very quickly on hiragana and katakana, and then you just kind of have to know it after that. Okay, so this next book is Japanese Demystified. And I really like this book because it comes with its own app, and it's really useful that you listen to the pronunciation of characters and certain words so that you actually know how to say them. That's why, you know, if you've ever taken a language class before, something that a language teacher will always tell you is that it's very important that you go and listen to that language's media. So obviously some media in Japanese would be anime, music, you know. I'm certain that there's a couple of shows that have like, you know, that like writing to signify maybe onomatopoeia or like something. You can really like use that to enhance your learning at least just a little bit. But obviously a book that comes with its own app is very useful too. So this is Japanese Demystified, Hard Stuff Made Easy. And it has this study streaming audio with 70 minutes of recordings via app and online. Untangle complicated grammar rules and sentence structure. Understand Japanese characters and pronunciation. Build a rich Japanese vocabulary. Reinforce skills with quizzes, written and oral exercises, and a final exam. I got started on this one, but then I dropped it because I don't know why I dropped it actually. Oh, I think it just kind of like, it went a little bit too fast for me. I wanted something that would only focus on a certain aspect of the Japanese language, so I opted for the complete Japanese grammar book that will teach me about grammar before it teaches me about like anything else. So once I get to this book, I will be pretty advanced on Japanese grammar, and this book will reinforce that, and then it will continue to generate new lessons for me with all stuff that I've done so far, it really is, it's a good option. Honestly, if you're not scared of going really, really fast on a language, I would go for this book. But I've always found it a lot better to learn specific areas of a language before just diving all in. And I might just end up doing this book completely last out of all of the other books that I have, because I feel like it would be a really, really great way to just practice. And also, I don't recommend that you start learning kanji from a book that is not specific to kanji, because kanji is a very difficult thing to grasp. Kanji characters, like I said, are Chinese characters adapted to the Japanese language. Or did I say that? I don't remember. And there are like over 2,000 of them. And their sound changes, so they can be like a certain way as a standalone character, but then sound completely different when paired with other characters. So it's a lot to learn. It's pretty difficult. Duolingo it's very helpful for learning kanji characters, but I don't think that it's a great way to really embed the knowledge that you learn. It's very forgettable, not the greatest teaching strategy, because all you're really doing is just, clicking multiple choice things. And I really recommend that you physically write things down, especially for a language that is a completely different, it's completely like a different format than like English or Spanish. Like we have the alphabet, they have a series of characters and several writing systems. Like, you cannot compare the two. But anyway, this is an integrated course in elementary Japanese, and it is for little kids. But I feel like, what better way to learn than buying a legitimate Japanese book for like Japanese little kids. I feel like that's a perfect way to learn. And so I have only done the first question in this book because I quickly noticed that I needed to know way more than I currently do. But yeah, basically the first page just starts off with pictures, and it like makes you put down, what that means. So like this person is saying like, oh hey, good morning, and you can tell because there's a little sun in the corner, and like this guy's really tired. So that's like Ohio, and it has its own answer key, and it also has a CD, but who uses CDs anymore? I feel like this book is pretty easy, but again, I think it does. Yeah, it has a lot of kanji characters, although this book is really good because it, at the bottom, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but at the bottom of like these sentences, it has the way that the kanji character is pronounced in context. So that is very useful. Okay, next one. This. Is another kanji book. Well, yeah, this book is only for kanji. I got it because it said 512 kanji with illustrations and mnemonics. And mnemonics are like where they give you like pictures that you can assign to a concept or like a word or something in order to memorize it better. It works like really well for some people. It works well for me. And so that's why I purchased this. This was $20. I guess it's not that bad, actually. But I don't love this book. I have to use the answer key a lot because I get confused. It's just kind of like, there's not really any mnemonics, I'll be honest. There's no mnemonics thus far that I can like hook myself onto. And also, it's kind of confusing at the beginning because it gives you a set of kanji characters that you need to like trace, and then it gives you a chart of a bunch of words, and you like, it doesn't give you the definition of the kanji right off the bat. It makes you else. So like you have to use the answer key to get all your answers basically, because unless you already know what you're talking about, you won't get this right. However, this book really did teach me about the days of the week and money. So I'll give it credit for that, but I did have to drop this book because I need to find a better one before I get into that. And I think I did find a better one actually. This book is stiffer than the other ones and smaller too. This is just called Learning Japanese Kanji Practice Book Volume 1. I feel like I will be buying Practice Book Volume 2 fairly soon. I have not started this book because I think I'd like to finish the grammar one first. So okay, here's what I'm thinking. I finish the grammar one first, then I do this one, and then if that goes well, I do this one, and then this one, and then the Japanese Demystified book, and then we move on to something else. I don't know, something harder. By then I'm pretty sure that I'll be taking an advanced Japanese course at college. So anyway, at the top of the book it says the quick and easy way to learn the basic Japanese kanji, and I feel like this is better because it focuses on, so it gives you one character, then it gives you the meaning, the radical, I don't know what that means yet, and then there's something called on readings and kun readings. So I'm guessing like what each part of the kanji character means, and then common words used with that kanji, and it makes you do the same kanji character over and over and over again. So, and then after that, it makes you apply what you learned with actual words. So that's like really good actually. And so this is like a very, very basic book. So I feel like that's why I would buy volume 2, is to actually like keep going from some harder kanji and maybe do some harder exercises. But yeah, kanji is by far the hardest part about the Japanese language. So those are the language books. I have a few other books that are not like workbooks, I guess. Some of them are like language books, but they're more like apply your knowledge, I guess. And some are culture books. So we'll start with this one. This one's just a dictionary, Japanese English visual dictionary, bilingual dictionary. Over 600 words and phrases. Okay, so bilingual visual dictionary. This book is, I wouldn't recommend that you obviously like don't flip through this book, you know. You're not gonna really learn anything by just flipping through. But if you're like at a restaurant maybe in Japan and you wanna know like what the food, like how to say the food, like they have a whole section of like seafood, you know, they have like everything in here. They have, let's see, the human body accessories, like hospital terms, bathroom terms, gardening tools, vegetables, restaurants, school, math, media, bus, airport, fishing, sightseeing, arts and crafts, architecture, and like basically anything that you could think of. So if you're like, maybe this would be really good if you're like in a place where Japanese is used a lot and you just need one quick word, or like, you know, like maybe try to think of a different situation which you would need this. Maybe like you're doing an exercise on like what is this called, and like you need to like reinforce your knowledge with that. That's what I would use that for. This is called Read Japanese Today by Len Walsh. instead of making you do exercises, it teaches you about why the character represents what it represents. So this really would be a mnemonic book. Like it says, here, let me read something. Let me pick a better one. So I know this character. This character is Sheen. So it says a man, and then it has the Sheen character resting beside a tree, and then it has like this character is the character for rest. Oh my god, that's really good. So this is supposed to be the tree. So a man resting beside a tree is the character for rest. So resting beside a tree, it looks like a man resting beside a tree. It is written like that, and is pronounced Yasumu by itself and Q in compounds. This is the character a shopkeeper will put on his door on holidays to indicate he's closed. So that's like really cool. This is a book that I will be like annotating. I like to annotate my Japanese books, but let's move on to this one. This is one of the first books that I got for learning Japanese, and I got I got 3 of these at Half Price Books. I believe I got Japanese Demystified at Half Price Books also. I think Half Price Books is a great place to find like cultural books for a really cheap price. Like, don't go to Barnes & Noble and buy a cultural book, it's not worth it. And you also get to find like different types. Like I would never find this at a Barnes & Noble. And this is really cool because it for example, it has phrases in Japanese, so the English version, and then like the way it's written in Japanese, and then how to actually say those characters. And then at the very top, it has like some cultural information that you can like use. So this is at a sushi restaurant. If you sit at the counter, you usually order sushi one kind at a time, 2 bite-sized pieces. At a table, you might order an assorted sushi tray or other sushi specialties. So it has, like, for example, the top one is raw fish. Raw fish is sashimi, and it has like the super English dictionary way of pronouncing it. So I'm putting it the right one, right? Sashimi. And that's how you say raw fish. And it has it for like a bunch of other things, like the telephone. It has, let me pick a different one. Religious services, taxis, checking in at a hotel, like all of those things. So it mixes in your culture with your language. And this book is all about culture. I got this on Amazon Books. It says, Etiquette Guide to Japan. There's this man here. He is bowing. And it says, know the rules that make the difference. And this book, I am not that far into it, but it is so useful for fighting off culture shock when you go to like Japan, which I have not gone to Japan because the trip that I was going to got canceled because of COVID, but whatever. This book is just, it's so useful because it teaches you about things that you would have never thought of. For example, at the very beginning of this book, it describes the culture of harmony in Japan and how it's not common to have like public outbursts or confrontations in Japan, because that's just not something that happens. It's not like a thing. It's not in their culture. So when Americans do it, it's weird for them. It teaches, like, I'm currently on chapter 4, Samurai Legacies, but it has, like, let me read you some of the chapter names. So sexism taboos. So I really recommend this book. It is very eye-opening. Also, like, I feel like as somebody who lives in America, it's so easy to just forget that in some cultures, the things that we find so normal that we think are like a worldwide sort of thing are not so worldwide. Everywhere else, like, I would have never imagined that in Japan, confrontations are not normal. In America, everybody confronts each other all the time about everything. But yeah, those are all of the books that I had. If you would like any other, maybe like website recommendations for learning Japanese, I can recommend you some. I can recommend you maybe some classes that I've taken online, or some Japanese YouTube accounts, maybe some podcasts on Spotify. I have all of that. I've been through all of those things, so just let me